What's going on, Barbell Nation? Dr. Zach Long from thebarbellphysio.com here. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to talk a little bit about my 3 favorite exercises for helping an athlete who's dealt with a shoulder injury return to doing heavy overhead pressing, whether that's strict presses, push presses, or jerk variations. So the fitness athlete or the CrossFitter Olympic weightlifter, almost every single workout that you do involves heavy shoulder movements. So it ends up being an area that gets banged up every now and then, and you deal with injuries. And if you dealt with a significant injury and you're taking your time and slowly progressing back to pushing those heavy weights again, these 3 exercises are a great way to build up from the rehab stuff that you've probably done with your physical therapist, your chiropractor, your MD, to the stuff that you really want to do, the push press, the jerks, the strict presses. So let's run through these 3 drills real quick. First, I like doing some bottoms up kettlebell press. So we get the bottom of the bell upright, and we can do this in standing. We can do this with a push press type pattern, or we can go down into half kneeling where we really think about keeping our core in a good position and press overhead. The bottoms up position of the bottoms up press is going to have a couple effects. First, because the bottom's up, it's obviously a little bit more unstable. That's going to make the stabilizers of your shoulder have to work a little bit harder, and that's going to do a really good job of tying in those rehab exercises you were doing to the more advanced movements that you want to move to. Second, because of that instability, you're not going to be able to load that as heavy as you would if you were pressing a dumbbell or a kettlebell with the bottom down, which means that you're not going to put quite as much stress through the shoulder joint, and again, that's just going to make it a good intermediate exercise. The next thing I like to do is simple overhead carries. So just as simple as it sounds, let's get a kettlebell overhead, let's get a dumbbell overhead, maybe even a barbell overhead with the bottoms down, maybe the bottoms up, and let's walk with it. Let's train that stability in the overhead position, again, to just tie everything that you've been working on in. Lastly, I like the landmine press. The landmine press is done with a barbell. It's basically an overhead press type pattern, but you're not going into full shoulder flexion. Instead, you're only going about halfway. So I'll get down and kneeling, hold the end of a barbell, and you're just going to press overhead. Now this is my go-to exercise when I'm ready to really start adding some weight and getting an athlete loading up the press. Because we're not going into that full overhead positioning, a lot of times athletes will tolerate load a little bit better here, and I can get them temporarily doing all their pressing with the landmine position. Maybe adding some weights to the end of the barbell to increase that, and then get them back to doing strict press, push press, and jerks again.